Hello, where are you from and what are you exactly doing? What is your message to my viewers today? Please.
Well, my name is Ndoole Boston. I come from Congo, and well, I have been working in Congo for very many years in my young age as a human rights activist till the time I couldn't do it anymore for my safety, and I had to be pushed out of the country for exile. And then I lived in Uganda for quite long. And afterwards, I'm living in the Netherlands by now, but I can say I live in both countries. So yeah, I can say I'm a human rights activist because that's what I've been passionate in. And apart from that, I'm also an explorer. I do expeditions. I'm an expedition leader. I do expeditions for living and passion as well. So I do expedition films with some companies and television, mostly London-based.
Okay, yes. So, I saw you had a beautiful documentary about Congo and you traveled along the Nile. I saw that too. It's very great. But as you said, your passion is human activist. And I think in Congo, the situation is very terrible. That's what I can see, what I heard, what I did some research, and it is really bad. I saw this UN interview with the Nobel Peace Prize, Mr. What was his name?
Dr. Mukwege, Denis Mukwege.
Yes, and I think that was very emotional, and it resembles a little bit what is going on. Can you explain me a little bit about the conflict, what is going on in Congo, for the viewers who don't know? I think there are some rebels and there is the army, but can you explain me a little bit?
Well, the Congo conflict is really a very wide topic, even if it's a hidden topic to the public, because it's a topic of shame. It's a topic of shame whereby the world has turned a blind eye on the massacre and something we can call genocide, according to the way those massacres are being done, where over 10 million of people are killed, but the world power and the world main medias turn a blind eye and decide just to hide the story. And well, this is something some people say started with the King Leopold, a grip on the Congo. That's in the past centuries with the Rambo for Africa. But I can say it was still possible to put that in the past and decide to make things the right way. Yeah. These last 5 or 6 decades. So if we can go back a bit in history. That's by the time we can call the period of independences in Africa.
Yeah.
There was a tendency from African pioneers of independence, among which Kwame Nkrumah, Lumumba, Selassie, who actually saw the need for African people to self-determination. So those people had a plan for their people, for their countries. And for us, unfortunately, as soon as the word independence, for me, really, it's so painful to pronounce it because I've never seen an independent Congo. Yeah, ever since it said it happened the 30th of June, 1960. I've never seen any independence. So Lumumba understood what was the need of his people, we Congolese. The fact, the only fact of understanding what the Congolese people needed created him enmity from the Western powers. That's the former colonial power, which still stands today as an enemy for Congo, instead of helping repairing the Belgian history in the Congolese minds. Actually, till now, Belgium stands as the enemy number one of the Congolese, with the help of the United States, always. So they decided to kill Lumumba, and Congo fell into chaos. They decided to put Mobutu into power. Mobutu, who was actually the boy of Lumumba, kind of his personal secretary initially, and so on. So they put him in power. And they ruled the Congo the way they wanted. So for more than 30 years, Mobutu was there, playing with the Congolese economy, resources, the way he was told by his masters. So when did we ever have independence? No day, no day. No, so Mobutu was getting old. That's where this second part of the story starts. Mobutu was getting old. He was incapable to continue. They needed someone to continue looting Congo, and this had become so serious because of technological evolution of the world, with the multimedia and the new devices being invented. They knew they needed more materials from Congo, and Congo had all the minerals they wanted. So Mobutu served as only as a puppet for the West against Russia. We had a war. Actually, not us, but they had a war against Angola. Angola, that was a pro-Russia country where Cubans and Russians were trying to help the government to counter the American invasion. The Americans have armed some guy called Jonas Savimbi, who had in his ranks the soldiers from the apartheid regime of South Africa and Namibia, and intelligence and support in logistic from US, and all the US bases were in Congo. In Congo. Meanwhile, Mobutu was the man, because he couldn't oppose that. He had no plan either for Africa or for his own country. So Congo was actually a base for the Westerns to counter Russian influence in Angola. After the fall of the Berlin Wall, Mobutu had become first old, secondly useless, because there was no more Russians or Cubans across, or somewhere in Africa with so much power the way it was during the 80s and so on. So they had another plan in Washington, how to get the Congolese minerals by the hands of the Anglo-Saxon. And the English-speaking people were coming from Uganda. Museveni was ruling Uganda, and then came the Rwandan crisis that brought in the genocide. And we know, I think everyone knows how it happened, and we know the consequences, which are totally regrettable. But instead of fixing the wounds in the region, when the genocide in Rwanda took place, another genocide started. It's kind of, it was the edge of death that crossed the border from Uganda to Rwanda and continued to Congo. So the Congolese crisis is worse because in Rwanda, it was a kind of ethnic kind of war and power for the people of Rwanda, but for the Americans and allies, it was a war to open a door to the Congolese richest minerals from Rwanda. So that's what happened. And in 1996, just 2 years almost after the end of the Rwandan genocide, Congo was attacked with a slogan that Mobutu is a dictator, he should go, and so on. Yet that was not the mission. No. So since 1996 to now, people are being killed daily, and the dead, raped, displaced people, refugees can be counted by millions. Reports are there from UN. Some reports are being censored by the US. They cannot be released. Reports are being forbidden to contain names of the perpetrators of the crimes, till where we are at this moment.
Yeah. This is actually a little bit, of course, the Congo, I think it's worse, but we can see this happening in Syria, we saw it in Iraq, we saw it in Iraq,
and in Libya. Was still the same story.
And it always comes from, it's maybe not nice to say, but it comes from Western countries, especially the US, and Europe is mostly of the time participating in these wars, unfortunately. But have you heard that the new initiative from China and Russia? What do you think about that? Because I know China is trying to develop Africa. I don't know if that is happening in Congo. I don't know, just your vision, your opinion. Maybe if they intervene, that maybe, hopefully, the peace will come one day.
I don't think China is able to help Congo. I don't think China is able to help Congo because China has that kind of policy that is called a win-win, whereby, according to them, you need money for infrastructures. China also can have access to some minerals and so on. I do understand that it can work in some places, mostly in my country, Congo, because we have the resources. We have the resources, but Congo has been occupied. Congo has been occupied since the first war till now. Occupants, mercenaries, they cannot build a country. How do we profit from the win-win deal from China when the money is going in the hands of occupants and criminals? That's the problem. I cannot blame it to China. China needs raw materials for its development, and I think they give something in return. They give money in cash, but in whose hands? The Congolese people are not getting a single coin from that money. So I don't support China bringing money to Congo. I don't even support the World Bank giving credits to a government of thugs, to people occupying the country. Maybe I should clarify that Congo is under occupation. We have no government for now over 20 years. So the same story that happened in 1960s when Lumumba somehow reclaimed Congo for the Congolese and he got killed. The same story happened when Mobutu was removed from power. There was a Congolese, a responsible Congolese guy whose name was Kabila. So Kabila was only killed because by the time he took power, he refused to be a puppet. He refused to be a puppet. He was accused of everything. And by then, you could see Congo in all the international media, the French media, the American media, the Italian media. So Congo was there. There's a dictator who has replaced Mobutu, this and that, because he was not a corrupt person. And he was not a puppet. He said, we own this country. We are ready to deal with you like man to man because we cannot eat the raw materials. But we need to be able to negotiate the products that belongs to us. They cannot just be looted like this. So he became the bad guy of the time, a dictator, this and that, till he was killed. When he was killed, he was replaced by some guy called his son, but the guy is not his son. So that's where the occupation of Congo started. Congo has no army. All the minerals of Congo are being looted. Not only what China is taking, maybe like in Katanga and so on, but in Eastern Congo, where the coltan and all those rare minerals are being exploited.
How do
Americans and all multinational companies, they put their companies for minerals in Rwanda because that's where they want to be. They want to wipe out the Congolese people from their lands to keep on exploiting the minerals. So today, Congo produces 80%. No, it doesn't produce, sorry. It has 80% of the world reserves of coltan. On the world market, there's 0% of production. Rwanda becomes the first world producer of coltan, with all the industry, the high tech possible to transform the coltan from Rwanda to the world. And the world accepts it, yet Rwanda doesn't have a single reserve of coltan. How can that be? How is the world surviving with those kind of lies? But if you check the Western media, Kagame, the president of Rwanda, is the guy, the right guy for Africa, this and that. Count the million of people who have died at his hands by his soldiers trained by Americans, Israelis, and all the Westerners. No news. That's not news. They cannot say anything about that. So that's the problem we're having.
This is the problem, I think, in a lot of countries, not only Africa, also the Middle East. But the big question is, how can we stop it? How can we, I mean, it's very hard. You see it now when we have the COVID-19. The big pharma is gaining in this point. And how can we stop the looting in Africa, the looting in the Middle East for the oil, and especially in your country, because it's so important what you said with the cobalt. How can it be stopped? What do you think? It's my last question for you.
Yeah, so the difference between us and the Middle East is that the people from the Middle East can fight for themselves. can try to fight for themselves, even if the invaders can use high-tech equipments, war equipments, drones, and electronics, but the people can have access at the minimum equipment of fighting back. They can try to fight back. That's what is happening in Libya. At least some people are trying to fight back. In Syria, some people are trying to fight back. In Iran, some people are trying to fight back. Chinese are trying to fight back because they also invaded. Yeah. Only us Congolese cannot fight back because we are encircled. We are encircled. We have 20,000 agents working for the UN who are tracking the nationals, trying to raise their voice. What are they doing? 20,000 men in a country for 20 years. But there's no single day whereby hundreds of people are not being massacred. They're just there, receiving salaries, spending time at bars with girls and drinking for 20 years. So what can be done for us Congolese? We need people who can understand that we're also human. And if we can get to those people, we will take our destiny back. Exactly. We'll take our destiny back. We'll fight for ourselves till our voices will be understood by the people, because you cannot silence the Yemenites forever because they're fighting. The Syrians are fighting, but as we have no way to get to anyone listening to us, at least who can give us a little support. We have men, we have everyone around, we can fight. And we are ready to fight to take our country back and to talk to the world as men, not as people who are just destined to be massacred for good and wiped out from their own land. It's our country. We deserve something. We are human.
I understand, and I hope your call will be heard throughout. The world is a bit wide, but we should spread this message. And yes, I mean, the West, you cannot trust on the West, because, as you said, they want minerals, they want for their cell phones, they are robbing countries until today. It's never stopped. But maybe
if I can also make a call to the West, they should know that we need money, we need we need life, we need a basic human right as every other person, but they should not arm people from outside to come and kill our families to get access to the minerals. However, since they don't want us to survive on our land, we are ready to fight for it till they will come and talk to us and work with us, not sending mercenaries on our land. That's what I can say to them.
Okay, thank you very much for your message, and I will spread your message. I will send this to you later on, and I hope when you get more media attention or whatever, that it will be in the open more, because in the West it's not living that much. So I hope, and a very emotional call from you, and I hope you will succeed, that Congo will succeed, and the people from Congo will finally one day have their own country. And thank you so much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you too.
Speaking to you.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.